Zhang Yi looked closely and saw an email on the computer. The content of the email was, "Special dispatch personnel from Jiangnan District have arrived in Tianhai City. Please be sure to arrive at the Tianhai City Central Building on time at 2:30 this afternoon." The list of invited guests includes Xing Weinan from Qingpu Shelter, Xiao Honglian from Yangsheng Shelter, Wei Dinghai from Chaoyu Shelter, Wen Kongye, the leader of Snow Worship Cult, and Zhang Yi, who has no title. The signature below is Jiangnan Military Region. When Zhang Yi saw this email, his eyes widened. Jiangnan Military Region. Is it one of the 5 major military regions in China with its headquarters in Jinling? The 5 major military regions in China represent the top military forces in China. In peacetime, they are the foundation of the country. After the end of the world, they are still the cornerstone of the stability of China. As for how strong the Jiangnan region is, there is no need to question it. You know, the reason why Zhang Yi was able to defeat the strong with the weak last time and destroy the Xishan base was that the Jiangnan region launched a missile. If the Jiangnan region wanted to, it could make the entire Tianhai city disappear from the map in a blink of an eye. How could Zhang Yi not be in awe of this level of power? Yang Xinxin nodded. Yes, I think it must be them. Zhang Yi frowned slightly. How can we be sure that this email is real and not a conspiracy or prank by some people? Yang Xinxin shook her head. Brother Zhang Yi, I can tell you for sure that this must be a message from someone in Jiangnan District, because our network system has a very strong firewall. Anyone who wants to contact us must apply. If I don't allow it, their message can't be delivered. But this email went straight over my Surface firewall and was sent directly to our mailbox. There are only 2 types of people who can do this. The first is a hacker who is above me, and the second is an official agency with higher authority at the internet level. Of course, it is impossible for anyone in China to break into our network in such a short time without Xinxin noticing. So I can conclude that the other party must be from Jiangnan District. I just don't know what their purpose is for coming to Tianhai City suddenly this time. I think it may be related to the problem of zombies. Yang Xinxin said her guess. Zhang Yi's eyes condensed. They can actually do this? Doesn't that mean that our network is not safe? Yang Xinxin smiled disapprovingly. The real core of the shelter is the intranet, which uses an independent server and has no connection with the outside world. They can't break it. Zhang Yi breathed a sigh of relief. However, he still felt that this problem has become a little tricky now. With the addition of external forces, and the behemoths whose strength is completely overwhelming that of the 5 major forces in Tianhai City, the situation has become uncontrollable. I think their coming this time is likely related to the current zombie tide. After all, the scale of the zombie tide is too large, and its origin is too mysterious. If it is left unchecked, perhaps the nearly 20 million corpses in the entire Tianhai City will become a huge zombie tide. Not to mention that there are also terrifying giant rats mixed in the zombie tide. Once the zombie tide and rat swarms spread to other cities, it will turn into an uncontrollable disaster. Zhang Yi spread his hands and said humorously, "Isn't that how the biochemical crisis came about?" Yang Xinxin nodded. So when they called the roll, they accurately pointed out the leaders of various forces. I think we should go over there. There is no need to offend a high-ranking military region at this time. Zhang Yi leaned back on the sofa with his head in his hands and thought for a while. He said slowly, "Judging from the computer capabilities of several other companies in Tianhai City, it is unlikely that this is a trap set by them. But for safety reasons, I'd better bring as strong an armed force as possible with me. This is the safest way." Regarding safety, Zhang Yi was not particularly worried. Now, except for their family, the power of other families in the entire Tianhai City has been greatly weakened. As long as Zhang Yi takes his elite team out, even if they encounter any force, there will not be too much danger. Even if the opponent is too strong and they can't beat him, they can still escape. So, Zhang Yi called everyone to the living room and told them about this. After hearing that people from the Jiangnan district came to Tianhai City, everyone had different expressions on their faces. Some were happy, while others were worried. Fatty Shu was the one who was more worried. With a bitter face, he said to Zhang Yi and others, "We are living a relatively stable life now. If other forces enter Tianhai City, I am afraid that it will change everyone's current living environment." Zhang Yi shook his head disapprovingly when he heard what Fatty Shu said. Although Tianhai City is a port city with relatively abundant supplies, but compared to the Jiangnan district, the things I have in my hands are not in their eyes at all. That's right. Even though Zhang Yi emptied the entire Walmart warehouse, his supplies were nothing to the Jiangnan region. After all, Jiangnan has been the most prosperous commercial region since ancient times. The Jiangnan region controls the entire free shipping area. They will definitely not be short of supplies. For ordinary people, due to the influence of the extremely cold weather, there may be various travel inconveniences and shortages of supplies. But for a region like this with huge energy, these problems can be easily solved. After Zhang Yi's explanation, Fatty Shu was relieved. That would be the best. I just think everyone is living well now, and I'm afraid of changes. People who live a comfortable life always don't want anything to change the status quo. Zhang Yi also understands this. Uncle Yu, who was born in the military, crossed his arms and said confidently, "I think we should trust them." As the boss of the region, Jiangnan district must not want to see a large-scale zombie riot in a city with a large population like Tianhai City. Ling Yue nodded. I think so too. Under the situation of zombies besieging the city, everyone hopes that there will be a higher-level force to help them solve the current problems, although the shelter has not been affected too much now. But living in such a city, no one dares to guarantee what will happen in the future. If the problem of zombies can be completely solved, it would be great. Zhang Yi nodded and said, "Well, since the news has been sent to us, we have to go and take a look anyway." He looked at Yang Xin again. Xin, you are responsible for monitoring the network. Although it can be basically concluded that this email was sent by someone from Jiangnan district, we still have to be on the safe side to avoid traps set by other people using some means we don't know. At the same time, all the large forces in Tianhai City received an email from the Jiangnan District Investigation Team. This email was almost like a life-saving straw for them, so each family also spontaneously brought people and went to the central building. Tianhai City, Tianfeng District, Central Building. The vehicle of the Jiangnan District Investigation Team drove here. I saw that the once magnificent central building was now mostly buried by ice and snow. The exposed half was also piled with thick snow. If the positioning was not accurate enough, it would be difficult to find this location. Bian Junwu and several others got off the car, and the snowmobile that was obviously specially made for their mission was parked outside the building. Looking at the central building in front of him, which was almost buried by heavy snow, Deputy Captain Bailey Changqing scratched his thick neck. "Oh, I didn't expect it to become like this. It's terrible. There should be many people coming by then. It's not good to be so messy." At this time, Wu Di next to him came out with a relaxed smile on his face. "It doesn't matter. I'll clean it up." As he said, he opened his right hand and pointed it at the central building in the distance. A ball of white light slowly emerged in his palm and then rushed forward with a boom. Wherever the white light ball passed, large piles of snow were directly shaken away. After a moment, all the snow in front of everyone was cleared, and a circular passage appeared. After doing all this, Wu Di walked to Bian Junwu with a smile on his face and made a please gesture. "Captain, please." Bian Junwu had no expression on his face, but he put his hands in the pockets of his black coat and took the lead to walk towards the central building. Bai Li Changqing followed closely behind, and the others followed in turn. From the order of the footsteps of several people, their status in the team can be seen. First is the captain Bian Junwu, followed by the deputy captain Bai Li Changqing. The third is Wu Di. And then, virus experts Meng Siyu and Qi Guangming are parallel. Finally, there are top special forces, sharpshooter Qi Guangming and mixed martial arts master Kong Sheng. In the investigation team, any one person pulled out is the top combat power level of the major forces. Especially the two captains and Wu Di, their abilities are at least at the level of the base leader or even higher. The leaders of each force took part of the combat force and rushed to the central building to meet with the investigation team. The first to arrive were the people from the Yangsheng base. Xiao Honglian arrived here with a group of men, a chariot, 4 mutant captains, and 10 elite warriors. Zhuge Qingting and his men stayed behind in the headquarters camp. After arriving at the central building, she saw the unique snowmobile. Only one car? It seems that there are not many people sent by the district. Xiao Honglian felt a little heavy. She knew very well how serious the threat of the zombie tide was. If a large army was not sent to deal with it, it would be difficult to deal with it completely. But how many people could this car bring? Although she felt a little disappointed, Xiao Honglian still planned to meet the investigation team first. She thought to herself, maybe this is just the vanguard, and a large number of combatants will arrive later. Xiao Honglian led people to the central building. When she arrived in front of the building, she clearly saw the ice and snow passage that was hundreds of meters long and more than 10 meters deep. Well, this is it! Xiao Honglian squatted down and stretched out her hand to feel the shape of the ice and snow passage. The regular curved surface was not made by a machine, but it looked like a passage that was punched out by a punch, and it was very smooth and flat. Obviously, this was the method of a mutant. An expert knows the doorway. Xiao Honglian, who is the top mutant in Tianhai City, naturally understands how powerful this hand is. She couldn't help but put away her contempt in her heart. "There are masters among the people coming," she whispered. Then Xiao Honglian led people to the central building. Just as they were approaching the gate, a man in a black uniform suddenly came out, looking at them with a smile. "Which faction are you from?" Wu Di's feminine face had a condescending look. Such an arrogant face immediately made everyone in Yangsheng base very dissatisfied, and they wanted to rush over and beat him up. Xiao Honglian frowned. "We are from Yangsheng base. I am the leader of the base, Xiao Honglian." Wu Di's eyes were always on Xiao Honglian. "Xiao Honglian, the former captain of the Tianhai City Criminal Police Brigade, welcome to your arrival." Xiao Honglian frowned slightly, and the other party's words had a subtext. "I know your information well." She thought to herself, "Is this a show of power?" Wu Di turned sideways and said to Xiao Honglian, "Please come in, but only you can come in. The others stay outside for the time being." Xiao Honglian did not refuse. She said to the men behind her, "You wait for me outside." But a captain-level mutant whispered to her, "Leader, is there a trick?" Xiao Honglian raised a sneer at the corner of her mouth. "Even if there is fraud, if I want to leave, no one can stop me."